Check. I turn the audio off on the speakers because I'll be going like this, right? Check. Check. 1, 2. Check. Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What the hell was that all about, hey? You tell me. I'm here with my good friend Samuel B. Lewis tonight. Say hi, Sam.
Hello.
Although perhaps not the greatest analyzer of basketball, Sam is a big fan, and god damn it, we had to have a couple beers after that fucking game, man. Holy shit, that was fucking awful, dude. What the fuck happened there? The Heat came to Toronto, and there was just a series of extreme gaffes in the ability of the Raptors that led to what was not a terrible loss. Let me check. I think it was 121 to 110 total. But as we talk through the game, it's pretty clear that it's just not good, man. It was just not good. Right off the bat, before we even get into things, there was clearly a big sort of lack of defense happening in the first half of the game, and then in overtime, after the Raptors came back and tried tried their best to prove that they were still in it. I mean, they actually outscored the Heat 3 out of 4 quarters, every quarter except the first. Then overtime happened, and within 55 seconds, it was an 8-point deficit again. And holy shit. Just make note. Actually, I'll just talk about this first because I forgot to write it down on my talking points. But it seems like teams are starting to figure out that Siakam is potentially an MVP candidate. And because of that, they're putting men on him. They're putting guys on him. They're embeating the shit out of him. Not beating, but embeating him because... And it makes sense. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. To see if it was it really, I mean, obviously he's an incredible player, and Jesus, one of the greatest seasons, the greatest season of his life, but how much of that was attributed to a team, every other team sleeping on the Raptors and thinking, well, Kawhi's gone, who the fuck do we defend? And now that the scouts have caught up to Siakam, obviously things are going to be a lot more difficult for him for the next little bit, and I think that's just the way it's going to be. But the real question will be, can he persevere? Can he get through it? And we'll see. But yeah, the very first thing to mention is, other than that, the Heat, what a great team. What a great team, right? I mean, they crushed it compared to some of the other people that we dealt with. Pretty much all season. The Heat they play a similar style of ball, it seems, as Toronto. I mean, another thing is they know how to develop players really well. They got a number of undrafted guys, just like we do. There's a lot of parallels that kind of match up between us, and it just turned out that they were the team that had the hunger more than we did, and you could tell. I mean, there's a number of things going. Another thing that I forgot to write down that we'll get into first: the return of Kyle Lowry, and unfortunately, he was held to really low numbers. He got a double-double, but almost all of his points came from free throws, which is just, it's fine, but holy shit, it was just embarrassing to watch this fucking team play field goal ball. Honestly, tonight it was absolutely ridiculous considering how they've been playing all season. It was just completely bullshit the way they were playing tonight. We were missing everything. It didn't matter if it was the 3, and we're going to talk about that in a bit, but holy shit, it didn't matter what they were doing. They couldn't get the ball in the fucking hoop, and that's the point. You know what? You can have as many turnovers. You can turn the ball over all day, but if you go all the way back down to the other side of the court and you don't get it in, then what was the point of turning it over in the first place? Because they're going to end up just fucking scoring eventually. All you're doing is prolonging the obvious at that point, and you don't do that with a team like the Heat. And I'm not gonna look down on the Raptors and say, oh, like they just didn't expect it, because that's not true. It's not that they've been playing only weak teams this season. Like, we had that win against the Lakers, and that could possibly be attributed to just the drive of the bench mob. But it's obviously that we're not sleeping on plus 500 teams. That's obvious. But there was just a breakdown of our ability, especially on the defensive end. There was a lot of cuts in tonight, a lot of wide open looks for Miami. Oh my God, it's a 3-point line. I mean, it's tough because they play a really good offensive game, and they can either cut in if you're all at the perimeter, or if you're trying to sort of box in, doing a box and one, or just box out the paint, they're just gonna shoot from the three because they have the players to do it. I feel like what we saw tonight is kind of probably what a lot of people see when they play against the Raptors. It's the same thing, but in reverse. So, I mean, I can't complain. It's a taste of our own medicine in a lot of ways, but holy crow, man. We dropped the ball, especially in the first half. Just no D, no fucking D. Like, what the fuck, dude? Fuck, I was screaming. My roommates were very angry at me because I was just screaming my little ass off. The box score tonight, again, kind of shows a similarity between the play style of the Heat and the Raptors. Not so much a superstar team, either of them, but just really solid, deep benches. We got, for the Heat, Bam, 18. He was great under the post, too, tonight. Jimmy with 22, and holy shit, we'll talk about Jimmy again in a little bit. Kendrick Nunn with 7, Duncan Robinson, 22. Myers Leonard, 8, and he was not. I mean, I thought he nailed more threes from the way that he impacted us outside early on in the game. But I guess he's more myth than mystery. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's true.
Say that a bit louder.
Yeah, that's true.
That's Sam weighing in, my analytics guy, my expert guy. Anyway, rather than going down the entire box score of the Heat because I don't give a shit, let's go over now to the Raptors. Gasol with 14. Gasol just so good when we're in need. And speaking of when we're in need, Norman Powell, again, showing up when no one else will. And I'm starting to see a pattern here. It seems like the more that teams wise up to Siakam as a guy they need to just put men on, it just gives Powell these open fucking looks, and he's able to go in and actually just kind of score at will. It's not really taking anything away from him, but, it's important that we do have a guy like him. It also begs the question, if we were able to use our extremely valuable bench and maybe package a couple of guys, Boucher, I don't know who else, Powell, maybe Stanley, and get a deal for a player that's kind of Powell-esque, but perhaps a bit more of a point grabber. I don't know. It's tough, but maybe it's worth thinking about, trading for a bit more of an MVP and going for another run. Just because, as the season heats up, it's pretty clear that Siakam, we're not sleeping on Siakam. The league's been put on notice, and because of that, there's ups and downs. Like, it's good for us in Toronto. We're flexing. We're like, yo, fuck Kawhi. Siakam's good too. But as soon as we actually get the word out, and we've been whining and complaining for so long to ESPN and shit, being like, fuck, you got to talk about Siakam. As soon as you do talk about Siakam, suddenly everyone's doubling his ass. Suddenly they're making it extremely difficult for him to get to the bucket because they know that he can score. So it's sort of a blessing and a curse to have a guy like that on the team, and he's going to, we'll see how he figures it out this year. But what's interesting, the parallel was that the Heat had a similar thing in Butler where he would draw 2 or 3 defenders all night, and what it would do is just open up shots for these other guys. Toronto, I mean, hopefully we can sort of play with that dynamic with Siakam more, but we were able to get Powell to use that opportunity, not so much anyone else tonight, and who knows if we can get more of an elite offensive player than Powell. But that being said, no slight to my guy Norman Powell, because he's been good to us. It would have been better if he actually fucking won the thing for us, but you can't expect a guy like that to carry the whole game, hey? No. All right, let's talk Butler. Jimmy fucking Butler. It was cool. I don't really remember. I was a bit drunk on during the 76ers game, but speaking of that, one sec. I can't really remember exactly what was going on in terms of how Embiid and the Raptors sort of vibed with each other pregame. Obviously the 76ers in general are just pretty salty after, what happened last year. But what was cool about good old Butler is it seemed like him and the Toronto boys were having, They were very colloquial, very friendly before the game. It was nice to see Butler like that. He seems to be really thriving in Miami. Obviously, I mean, they're crushing it. They're beating the 76ers right now. Tied with us now, too. But man, oh man, did he have a game. He had in the regular, I guess, let me do the math here, because I can't find the box score right now. In regular play, he had 16, I guess. No, 14 points. And then, after Toronto grinds their way back from fucking the worst basketball I've seen them play in a long time, and slowly and gradually, every quarter grinds back, we tie up the game, and we head to overtime. And within 55 seconds in overtime, Jimmy Butler had 8 points on the board. We ended up only scoring 2 points in all of overtime. I think they scored, what is that? What's the number there? 13, which, isn't, I mean, it's 5 minutes. 13 points in 5 minutes is pretty good. It's not the best thing, but it's a lot better than 2. And Jesus Christ, I haven't seen the momentum of a game be decided in overtime as quick as with what Jimmy did. I mean, 8 points, we were done. Like, there was a series of minutes there. I mean, after Lowry got those free throws where, maybe we can make something happen. But more or less, I mean, you come in with this energy where, holy shit, we fought all the way back. We got so close. We're actually tied up. We're going to take it in. And finally, now it's our turn to dominate. And within seconds, that energy was completely demolished. And we were back to nothing. And kind of just, the game slipped out of our hands very quickly. But what can you do, I'm going to take the opportunity now to play around with my streaming tools. And now check this out. We have this one's called Full Room View. Check this out. Oh, wait. Check out this full room view. Oh, look at that. Hello, YouTube. We are now in full room view. What do you like? How you like this? Oh, everything's the same, but now you can see Sam a little better. I can also see, I've been noticing this from doing these fucking, these cats. I grow this goatee and I forget that it's kind of like, it kind of comes out like a hockey stick here. I gotta shave this part right here, But instead, it's just like, it comes all the way back, hey? And what do you think about that?
Oh, no, that's great.
It's not the look for me, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, so yeah, Jimmy Butler, absolutely impressive. Absolutely impressive is the best way to describe his play, and you can't be mad. I mean, at the end of the day, I was not. It goes two ways. It's sort of similar with the way the Jazz played in the third quarter of the last game. You can be mad at the Raptors, and I was mad at the Raptors for completely letting the ball go, dropping the ball per se on D, at least in the first half. But at the same time, oh my God, the Heat's a great team. A real surprise this year, absolutely crushing it, playing a similar style ball. It's almost like I'm seeing sort of a Moneyball thing happen here with the way Masai sort of managed the Toronto Raptors last year. I think teams are catching on, and Miami's definitely sort of taking a play from us. So let's just, I'm going to call it right here. If Miami goes all the way this year, you can give 100% of the credit to the Toronto Raptors, because if it wasn't for us, they would never be this good. We're completely and utterly the reason why the Miami Heat are good right now. And so, I don't have to feel that bad about the fact that they kicked our ass tonight, because you know what? It was like us kicking our own ass, essentially. So, fuck them. Fuck them. All right, I'm going to go back to this other screen now. There we go. Oh, look at that. Look at this transition. Oh, that's nice. All right, so what else we got? Where's the three? Where's the three? I got to check the stats on here really quick, because holy shit, we could not get our three off tonight. 3-pointers. 11 for 43. 25.6 from the line. This is coming, again, from the team. Oh, where are you going? My God. Anyway, trying to talk basketball here. This fucking guy is just walking away. Just walking away like nobody's business. 11 of 43 from the three. We were supposed to be the number one team in the league for three-point percentage. I said during the last game against the Jazz that maybe that was going to change because, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not being honest. I'm being honest, but it's not like an opinion. It's just a fact. We weren't doing very well on the three there, and holy shit, did we go down tonight. Some of that can be attributed to a slow start from good old Kyle Lowry coming back. He got his shot off a lot. It just didn't go in, A lot of threes, a lot of chances, and in a lot of ways, you got to be like, you know what? You got to go for it, guy, because you don't want to get rattled. You don't want to have some sort of confidence issues right when you get back in. But that being said, it was shit. It was shit. I mean, Lowry, let's look at the stats here. I mean, you got a double-double, 12 points. Most of them, I think it was only 2 from field goal, and everything else was free throws. You know, here's the one thing. We got 80% from the line tonight, and we went to the line a lot. 36. We got 29 of 36 free throws, whereas the Heat, 16 of 21. They did well, too. They got 76%. We got 80. But, yeah, we were able to draw the foul a lot, and not a lot of that was attributed to Siakam, who time and time again seems to be a player who, even though he's super elite, he's no Harden, you know? He's not a guy that's able to really draw the foul on the rush, and that's really the next big thing with him is, you know what, if you can't get the point, like, you got to look at a guy like Lowry. He comes back, he's not scoring great right away, but holy shit, immediately he's drawing the foul, he's getting to the line, and so it doesn't matter if he's only scoring 2 from the fucking field because, you know, 16 points for the guy. You got to do shit like that. It also brings in another great point in that the refs were so fucking garbage, man. What do you think about the refs tonight, Sam?
It was very bad.
I mean, what else is there to say? That's probably the most in-depth analysis you need of what the refs were doing tonight, because that was absolutely fucking trash. Some of these calls, man, the fucking... I mean, now that I say it, nothing's coming to mind directly, but we can all agree. Anyone who watched the game knew that the refs were very one-sided. We couldn't catch a fucking break. I mean, if I had a little compilation or something, maybe I'll go back and watch the game again. But Jesus Christ, these calls were bad. Nick challenged a few of them. One of them, he got one coach's challenge. The second one, he just said fuck it because he had two timeouts, and it was like there was like 30 seconds left, so he said fuck it. Didn't go well, but I gotta say that we were getting some weird offensive fouls, at least, that I didn't really think. You know, and that being said, maybe it wasn't all the refs' fault in that regard. You know, I'm not backpedaling, but in terms of the offensive fouls thing, I'm not just mad at the refs, I'm also mad at the team, because there was some chances we had every time we got close to tying it up or getting ahead. We sabotaged ourselves, and I don't know what was going on in these guys' heads, but it can't all be attributed to us being the worst team, because we're not. We're better than Miami. We're absolutely a better team than Miami, but we just got in our own fucking way tonight. It was insane. We could not, for the life of us, just let somebody go up and score. We're committing offensive fouls, and like fucking Gasol's not even in the paint, and he's doing some bullshit. Like, what are you doing, man? Just fucking... I mean, we just didn't give ourselves a chance, for sure. All right, so, I mean, that wraps up the gameplay portion. Let's go through a couple more box scores. Oh, my God. If you look at the field goal percentage tonight, I didn't even realize this. Miami with 45 of 99, 45.5% from the field, which is great. I mean, it's great. Certainly better than us. 38.5, 35 and 91 shots, and 38.5 obviously isn't the worst, but it's more of like that should be a high 3-point percent rather than just a field goal percent. Like, fuck me, man. If that's like, it's like if we only shot from behind the arc and we got that, I'd be like, damn. But, you know, we rushed in a lot. We also there was a lot of fouls not being called on Lowry. And a lot of shit. We're rushing the basket. The ref's obviously asleep at the wheel. I was telling Sam, I think the betting averages for the Raptors were 4.5 plus or something like that tonight. So you can tell that what happened tonight is somebody bet big money, millions on Miami, some insider trading shit. And so they just paid off the refs to, you know, rig the game because holy crow, man. They did not want to call a fucking thing. And good for them. You know what? I would be more happy with the outcome of this game if they could just come out and tell us, yeah, we rigged it because we wanted to make some money. Like, I completely respect that. That is a good way to do stuff. But if you're actually just so fucking stupid that you don't see those calls, like, I can't respect that. So hopefully, you know, they come out in the next few days and say, oh, yeah, we rigged it. Because otherwise, it's like, dude, these people should absolutely be fired. Horrible officiates. Kudos, I mean, to letting us keep the three-pointer that was obviously ours that almost got called as, you know, out of bounds. But, like, come on, man. That's like if we had a full... So it's like, imagine going to a fucking Thanksgiving dinner, and as soon as you get there, a guy walks in and he's like, so the turkey's mine, and the cranberry sauce is mine, and the mashed potatoes are mine, The string beans are mine. The carrots are mine. But hey, dude, check this out. I'm going to give you a whole pot of gravy. It's like, yeah, you know what? Thanks for the gravy, but fuck you. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, refs. That was absolute garbage officiating. And you know it. So come out and tell us that you fucking rigged the game because you wanted to make millions of dollars. And I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to fucking guarantee that other people won't do shit about it. I'm sure the police would love to know what's going on. But I tell you what, if I were you, I would rather have the respect of my peers than the freedom of not being in fucking jail. I would rather go to fucking jail than do what you did tonight. Idiots. Garbage fucking officiating. Idiots. Professor Ibaka. So Ibaka's back, and I read a great article today. I would cite it, but I don't remember where I read it. But basically, he was just talking about how on his time off during his injury, he was just sort of trying to mentor the new guys. And you could hear in an interview a few days ago to Terrence Davis talking about how when he was first starting to play, Ibaka invited him up to his room, and they basically just chatted about. Ibaka was like, "Yo, there's a big responsibility happening. You're just about to play the Lakers, and you got to step it up." And it seems like his mentorship of these bench guys, these younger guys, has been extremely helpful. And I mean, I got to say, like, Lowry still has a little bit of time before he's back in working form, but shit, Ibaka's back and he's putting up numbers, and he's a mentor to these young guys. And I just think, it's so impressive. He's such a good guy. He got 13 tonight, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double, close. But, what can you say? You gotta love this Ibaka guy. He's incredible. We've been relying on Gasol. He's great. And obviously Chris Boucher, who, as much as I love, and actually his PER is off the hook. If you look up the PER stats right now, he's like 33 or something like that. 14 higher than Pascal Siakam in terms of PER, which I know is kind of a bullshit stat, but good for him. But yeah, now that, Boucher is going to have heavily reduced minutes, it's tough. But it's nice to see that if someone's going to fill his shoes or take their shoes back, it's a guy like Ibaka who's just so good on so many levels. So just want to welcome him back. Thanks for coming back, Ibaka. The one downside, I guess, is that we won't get to see him in such awesome outfits. Oh, there he is right now. Look at that guy. Classic, dude. Also, some of the best game faces. He has a stank face when he scores, man. It's awesome. But yeah, so Ibaka's back, and we couldn't be happier. Lowry has some work to do. I don't like to see so many fucking missed shots, and also, furthermore, have to attribute those to a guy like Lowry, who, is supposed to be, the hero of this team or whatever. A great guy, and that's all I have to say about that right now. But, if you make it $33 million a year and you got a guy like fucking Fred VanVleet on the team, like, just make sure you're actually trying your hardest, man, because we all love you, and I feel like it's actually sacrilege for me to ever criticize Kyle Lowry. I think that's one of the most insane faux pas someone could commit in Toronto, and furthermore, he's just getting his feet back, so there's no reason for me to be saying stuff like this. But man, this team has the balls on this fucking team, the drive, the guts. We have no time and we have no patience for somebody who's getting their shit back together, even if you are an 8-time or whatever all-star. Like, I'm just saying, we got to be hard on ourselves here, because we are going to win a title without Kawhi Leonard. And if you want to do that, you got to be hard as fuck on yourself. So, come on, Lowry, you got to step up the fucking game. That's all I'm saying. So that's basically all we have today for the good old fucking win streak ending Heat game that really took the fucking air out of my sails. We're gonna probably go do some Jaeger bombs to get our shit together after this one. Don't work till noon tomorrow. Sam actually just recorded a music video today for his band Pleasure Craft. It's not out yet, and when it is out, it'll have nothing to do with basketball or the Raptors. But if you're a fan of music, check out Pleasure Craft. It's not the German band with a K. It's the Canadian band with a C. And they're playing. What's the day of your show? They're playing December 14th at the Garrison. And I mean, if you guys want to, have a chat with us about basketball, anything basketball, or see this guy perform, come out to the Garrison on December 14th. It's going to be a good time. So the last thing on the docket, obviously, is Houston predictions. I obviously said after the Utah game and before the Utah game, I said, Utah, we're going to crush them. The Heat, we're going to crush them. And the Rockets, we're going to crush them. I'm 1-for-2 right now. But I will say this. The Heat play a bit more of a similar style of basketball to us. Sort of a more well-rounded team. Not really a superstar team, more like every player contributes. And they have great defense. Not top 4 defense, although tonight it seems like they did. Maybe that'll change soon. But great defense, great offense, just a balanced, well-balanced team. With teams like the Bucks, which I know, I keep saying that we're better than the Bucks, and yet the one time we beat them one time we played them this season, we lost. But obviously, look at the postseason last time. Anyway, with teams like the Bucks, the teams like Houston, sort of like what I want to call like single superstar teams. I mean, I guess they got Russell Westbrook now, but I just feel like they focus so much on points that a team like the Raptors and I guess maybe the Heat or like the Clippers can just kind of shut them down because we play hard fucking defense. Yeah, they can score 158 against Atlanta, but like that doesn't mean a thing. That doesn't mean a thing. If you if we're defensively just there, I just feel like all of that energy around Harden, like we can obviously absorb that shit, no problem. We put in Embiid at 0 points. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that makes sense as to why we weren't as good against fucking Miami, because they're a kind of team that has a ton of players that are solid, and Jimmy Butler is like, he's not their all-star really. Like he's probably the most well-known, well-liked guy, but at the same time, it's like, fuck, man, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can't cover every guy, and they're balanced, just like the Raptors. Whereas with a team like fucking Houston, we know what to do. Lock down Harden and Westbrook. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a bit of a squeaker. I think we're gonna win by 12 points, and it's gonna be, I don't know. It could be. It's gonna be a. You think it's gonna be a low-scoring game or a high-scoring game?
Very high. Very high. Very high-scoring game.
And why is that?
Just very high-scoring teams.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. I just want to see how Houston plays D against us, because what's going to happen is 2 things. 1, we shut them down, but they shut us down too, and it's going to be low scoring. Or 2, we're pretty good at shutting them down. We get ahead by some points, and then in classic Raptors fashion, we're not going to hold them back a lot. And as soon as we actually get on a roll, we're going to start playing a little bit more fast and loose on the defensive side, and they're going to get their points. And obviously, you don't want to ever let Harden get his fucking heat going. So, yeah, it's either going to be low scoring, maybe under 100, or it's going to be like 130, 140. Either way, I think we're going to win by 12, and I can't wait for that one. And just keep your chins up, people, because you know what? Rather than looking this as an embarrassing defeat, which it absolutely was, it was so embarrassing, and this team is so much better than this game, and I cannot believe how fucking lame our shots were. And I just think that the Raptors need to sit down and figure some shit about themselves. Why the hell was that such a gaffe? Because they're a great team this year, and they shouldn't be playing like that. But as much as that's the truth, let's look at this game as, hey, you know what? Miami, they're contenders. And sure, they're not going to win any of the other games against us this season. There's not even a chance. But good for them, because you got to give them a taste of victory before you crush their fucking dreams. So thanks so much for watching, guys. My name's Owen. This over here is Sam B. Lewis, also known as Pleasurecraft. And this has been Raptors Rewind with a devastating loss. But there's always the sun always comes out tomorrow. Heat at Raptors tonight, and coming up next on what day is it? What is it, Tuesday? I guess it's Thursday. Let me just check before we go. I think it's Thursday. You know, when I get my intern, when you guys start actually paying me to do this and I get my intern, it's going to be a lot easier. On Thursday, we face the Rockets once again at home. There's no more win streak to keep going, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep this guy waving for the next 20 minutes. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming out. My name's Owen. That's Sam, and we'll see you next time.